Welcome back to my channel. My name is April Hardiman and I own the business Make It Rain. I do tips, tutorials, product reviews. I do a lot of things that involve equine businesses. I like to support the equine industry. I recently went to a conference. It's called American Horse Publications Conference. How did I get involved in this and how did I find out about it? So kind of just on Instagram. I'm a big fan of Instagram. Just saw that they had some things going on, so then I checked out their website. I was like, okay, I definitely want to join. I ended up joining as a business. I might join later on as an individual, just depends what I decide to do. I joined, and then I later on signed up for the conference. It's, at first you think it's just for publications, like, the writers and the editors of magazines and the photographers for those magazines. But there's a lot more that entails for it. So don't get too thrown off just right by the name. They have businesses that sign up. Just pretty much all types of horse people were there. And I even signed, like, they have a little Facebook group, which is great. And before I went, I talked with one of the other gals. She was one of the student winners that received the travel award to go to the conference, and she ended up winning the interview and such. I'm not quite sure how all that worked, but it was really neat. Her and I ended up sharing a room. We got to know each other, and she's from France, and so we got to talk about all the fun traveling and stuff. And she's now going off to vet school in England, so it was really cool to just get to know an equestrian in that way. So like the first morning we got there, I didn't know what to expect. It was the breakfast. I kind of did a quick sign in, got my little name tag. Got a cute little name tag. So I got that, sat down to a table, and if you know me, I'm kind of introverted, and so these videos are kind of out of my comfort zone, but I keep pushing myself because I know people can benefit from this information, and I just like sharing this type of information. So I didn't know where to sit down. I was like, just gotta jump into it. So I sat down at a table, and I got to meet some other equestrians. I believe there was a couple that was an editor and a couple that were writing. So that was neat. And then they went on to announce a winner of one of their things. So they had some media awards. They had some other types of awards. That one was of a vet that had won an award, and the breakfast was amazing. The hotel we stayed at was really neat. It was just a really cool experience. So after the breakfast, we had the seminars, and there's like 3 seminars per hour, or for the morning there's 2 sessions, and in the afternoon there was like 2 sessions, or it was kind of split up differently. But the first morning I decided to go to the seminar SEO, and there was a seminar for writers and seminar for photographers. I believe there was all types of seminars. So the first one I went to was SEO, and a lot of what she said I had known, and it was just nice to get it kind of restamped that you're doing right. And there's a couple of tips that I learned that I was like, oh, I could definitely focus a little more on that. So I really enjoyed that. And then I was sitting out, and people were asking me what I was doing, and I was talking to them about what they were doing, and they got to learn about what type of business I do and what I do for the equine businesses. So that was super neat. And I ended up passing out quite a bit of business cards in between the seminars. I even got to meet Jamie Samples, and she's really great at helping businesses well on social media and such. So that was really great to meet her and get to know her a lot. Then the next seminar that I went to was content creation, I believe. Yeah. And that was put on the same company, by the same company, but a different member of that company. And it was cool how we went through like little marketing tips and such. And it just made you kind of think outside the box, and we ended up working in a team. Oh, that was really cool. And then you really got to know a lot more people, and kind of what they did. There was a ton of writers, and I just learned about, you know, you don't have to be to get into these magazines, and that print isn't dead, and that marketing, how the ads are and the magazines work, and how different types of advertisement works, and how the writing and all that works was really great to understand, because I did believe, I was one of the ones that thought print was going to die. I'm in that generation where social media is such a huge thing, but it is interesting how social media is being less trusted. So it was great to kind of see that print is still alive, and I think it's going to be still kicking for a while. Then in between the seminars, they had like a little time where you could go in and see all the different publications. There's tons there, like Horse Illustrated, Quarter Horse Journal, Paint Horse Journal, The Chrome, Practical Horseman. I'm not gonna get them all. Like there's a raining one. I know I'm not gonna get them all. I got quite a bit. What I learned from this trip for sure is that I need to have a halfway empty suitcase, or I need to check a bag if I go again. I mean, I hope I go again. I'd love to go next year, but I'll definitely have to pack a much emptier bag, because I came home with a lot of stuff. I had to leave a couple things on the counter, like a couple magazines, but I ended up taking a lot of magazines, and I had a lot of ideas on how I could possibly contribute to some of these magazines, like GDCT, or not GDCTA, but USDF, and my travels over to Germany and dressage. Like I could totally share that story. I even talked to the editor of that magazine, and it was just such a cool way to connect to these equestrians. And I was super nervous going into, like, I'm not a big networking person, but then you have to realize that everybody's there to connect. Like that's one of the biggest reasons to go to these conferences, is to connect and get to know people in person. And what's really cool is that they were like all horse people, so we all had something to talk about. And I was in a group, and I was like, do you have any tips if you go to a business conference? And one of them was talking about wearing a logo kind of shirt that makes people want to talk to you, or like start up a conversation. So I wasn't didn't have anything like that, but my dad had gifted me with this mug, and it says keep calm and told on. And I brought it, and I sat it down on every table, and I had my water in there, and it started tons of conversations, like, oh, do you have Icelandic horses, or what does tolt mean, or I was like, oh, and I went to Iceland last month. So it was a great way to break the ice. So that is one of my tips if you ever go to a conference of any sort. And always have your business cards. Which sucked that I kind of got my business cards, and I knew I was changing my name, but I didn't know what I was changing my name to yet. So now I have to get new business cards, but that's another story. So day one was like that, and after lunch we did some more networking, and it was kind of cool. Like they kind of assigned you to a table, so you kind of like made you have to meet new people. I mean, everybody was new to me, so it didn't matter if I was assigned a table or not. But it was really neat. I sat next to a gal from Purina, or does that Purina marketing, and we had a couple things to talk about, because I had some past history with meeting some of the Purina people when I worked for Mary Phelps. So that was cool. And then in the afternoon, I had a couple more sessions. Learned how to pitch to a magazine. That was kind of cool. I mean, just knowing that there's a pitch a season sometimes for magazines, and that you actually pitch the story to them before you go off and do the story. Like, I mean, I never thought about how it happened before, so it was just cool to see how it happened. I did take one little writing course or seminar, and that was interesting, about mindful writing. And then that evening they had some cool Spanish dancing that you could watch, and they did the student award that night, and the food was amazing. Like, it was like a little taco bar. They also had a silent auction going on, so you found out if you won that night. I ended up winning a book that was for my daughter. Horse fun. So I mean, it might be a while before she uses this, but it was really nice. So the second day was pretty similar. Had your seminars, another lunch. You got a little more comfortable with the people and just getting to know them. And I saw some of the authors that I'd seen on Instagram, and especially Carly Cade. I'd interacted with her tons on Instagram, so that was really neat to get to meet her. She's super nice. And then she introduced me to some other authors, and I ended up getting so I have her first book, but Carly Cade, I got this book from her, Cowboy Away, and kind of cool. Got a little note from her. I love that. During lunchtime, they had Mane and Tail, Straight Arrow. That company did a little cool promotional thing, and they had lots of little giveaway things, or and like t-shirts and all these fun cool things, and just learning about the new products that are coming out, and their new shampoo and conditioner line, and that was really neat. And they had Amy Witt there, and we all got this book, Cowgirl Confessions, and it's got a lot of poetry in it, and she read a couple of things there, and that was really neat. And she's all on Instagram too. I'll share all this information that I'm showing in the links below. But yeah, so later on that evening was the award ceremony, and I didn't think about all the different types of categories. Like, of course, you know, you're gonna have these type of articles, and then for the smaller magazines, for the larger magazines, whoever has a lot of viewers and whatnot. But then they have the blogs, so that was cool that they do blogs. And then they're starting to kind of get into a little bit to social media, like the ads that people run and what's written up for those. So that was kind of cool. Some email marketing was in there as well for some of the businesses. Like SmartPack got a lot of awards. Oh, and another thing that's cool is I got headshots done, professional headshots done by Shelly Paulson, because she was doing that there, and she even won an award for her book, Photos and Stories. So I don't think that's exactly what it's called, but that's what's in it, is like the photos and stories. And that was really cool getting to meet her. And what was even really cool is that I guess every year, they were telling me at the table I was sitting at, they do something with Breyer, and Breyer sponsors the tables. So this year they had a little cup of raffle tickets in it, and everybody got a ticket. And then somebody, we had one of the waiter guys pick out a ticket, and surprise, I ended up winning him. I think his name is Latigo Dunnett or something. He is a horse that performs at big events, and I actually saw him at NFR. So I was so excited that I won. I was like, I didn't even think I was gonna win. I never win anything. It was definitely super memorable, because now my first ever conference, and it won't be my last, I got him. So that's really neat. He's super cute. He's got needle dapples and such. But yeah, I was like, how am I gonna pack all this stuff? I mean, my bag wasn't super packed, but it had a lot of stuff in it. And I had all these books coming home with me. Like, I got a couple more. I got magazines. I got that free product from Straight Arrow. There was a lot. I mean, I had my cup with me. I had my laptop. Like, I had a lot with me in my bag. So how was I gonna get it all home? Somehow I made it. It's lots of shape shifting and geometry, kind of moving things around and figuring out how it's gonna fit in my bag. But yeah, the conference was amazing, and next year it'll be in Lexington, Kentucky. So if you have any interest in some types of publications, or you think your business would be really great to join this organization, then definitely check out their website. I'll of course put that in the description below. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below, and let me know if you've been to a conference before, if you've been to the American Horse Publications, or maybe a different type of conference and you enjoyed it, or if you didn't. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.